All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to our open day. My name is Valentine. You can see me here on the screen. This picture was taken like 3 years ago. I'm a lot older now. I'm not as smooth as I am here. My name is Valentine. Here are my credentials. I'm a chartered management accountant. I'm a chartered global management accountant. I hold an MSc in strategy. I'm also a professional project manager, as well as I have a master's degree in business administration. All right, so I'm the CEO of CharterQuest. I do teach a number of modules. I teach CIMA, I teach ACCA, as well as CFA, both level 1, level 2, and level 3. All right, so let's see. The goal here is to help you understand what CFA really is all about. And that is quite evident in the quick, small little survey that we did. We tried to find out a few things so that we can know how to pitch our open day. We'd asked you confirm if you were attending our open day, and 100% of you said you will be attending live stream. So we are doing this thing now through live stream. It's not face-to-face. Obviously, our classes themselves will be both live stream and face-to-face, but we're doing live stream today because you all elected to join the open day on a live stream basis. So you're welcome. Which level would you be studying? And you could see here, a vast majority of you are interested in level 1. If you look at the fact that 71% of you are interested in level 1, okay, 14% of you are not yet studying. If you are not yet studying, the chances are that when you start studying, you're likely to also be part of level 1. Okay. This one says, I haven't started CFA yet. Okay, almost similar to this. So almost all of you are literally looking at whether you want to do CFA in the first place. Obviously, everybody who does CFA starts from level 1. So I'll spend a lot of time trying to help you understand how level 1 fits into the broader scheme of things in terms of CFA. Okay, so we also asked you if you have attempted any CFA exams. 100% of you, it looks like none of you have ever written a CFA exams. So obviously I'll try and explain how the exams work, and hopefully it's going to be beneficial to you. Have you been studying by yourself or through an institution? So we wanted to know, especially for those who have already studied CFA, whether you're studying by yourself or by, through some other institute. Almost 60% of you is your first time of studying. So the chances are that you're not yet studying by yourself, neither are you studying with some other institute. Almost 30% of you seem to be studying by yourself. And I'm sure the reason why you're here is because you've realized it's quite daunting. It's not a qualification you can easily study by yourself. Okay, so the next part of the presentation will try and show you how we would assist you if you were to join us. And some few percent, almost 15%, you've been studying through other institutes. And I'm sure you are here today to understand what we do differently and why we believe we are better than that institute that you are studying with. So this is a quick rundown of who we know you to be. And obviously then we've prepared or arranged our presentation to try and respond to this. Apart from that, we did ask you a few questions. Obviously, you're taking your time to join us. I'm sure you probably have questions to ask. So we asked you to give us an idea what type of questions you want us to answer. Some of you asked these questions, but I'm sure more questions will arise today after our presentation. And I'm also going to try and, between myself and my colleague, Patience Mukonda, who is the CEO, will try and answer your questions. The first one says, are you going to provide online classes for CFA level? I think that's pretty straightforward. Yes, we will. We would prefer it. So it's an outright yes here. Yeah, we'll do both face-to-face as well as online classes. Can I start CFA if I'm an ACCA affiliate with no bachelor's degree? What is the eligibility criteria? Okay, maybe I can just answer. Sometimes we would answer this only after our presentation because the answers are found in our presentation. But some of these questions, they are pretty straightforward. There's no need to go to the presentation. For those of you who have been monitoring ACCA, CFA in the past, they needed a first degree. You had to have a first degree before you could start CFA, and then they later on changed to say, even if you don't have a first degree, but as long as you are still studying towards a first degree, you can start. The good news is that ACCA last year had relaxed that requirement. You don't need a degree, and you don't need to be in the past, you needed a degree, or you needed to be studying towards a degree, and you were required, you could write level 1 if you did not have a degree, but by the time you write level 2, you were required to show proof that you've completed that degree. That was the requirement in the past. Okay, the good news is that CFA has relaxed that requirement. Even if you don't have a degree, even if you are not studying towards a degree, okay, you are eligible to, go in for CFA. In fact, there's even what is called the work experience route, where you don't have a degree. You might not even have a metric qualification, but you have a number of years of work experience in the industry. You can still be accepted into the program. So they've made it a bit more flexible to make sure everybody who wants to really join in can join you. So this question which says, can I do it with an ACCA affiliate with no bachelor's degree? The answer is yes, you can. And I've also in the process explained what the eligibility criteria is. Okay. And the next question, is it compulsory to attend both Tuesday and Saturdays? I'm sure the person who asked this question has seen our timetable. I'm going to leave COO because the second part of the presentation has to do with timetables and delays. So I'll leave this part for my colleague to answer when she presents in respect of our timetable. All right, so unless there are additional questions which come up, I've already cleared the first 2 questions. My colleague will clear the next one. But let me go straight to, the CFA qualification itself. I mean, if you are new, and I'm sure from the survey out there, you can see that a vast majority of you are new to CFA. So we want to take this opportunity to really explain to you what it is all about. So by the time you leave here, you are equipped enough to say, okay, I know enough about CFA. This is the qualification I want to do. Or I know enough about CFA. This is a qualification I don't want to do. We want to leave you, finish with you today and leave you in a position where you know for sure CFA is something you want to do, or you know for sure CFA is not something you want to do. So we are not requiring that because you attended our open day, you should necessarily do CFA. No, it's an open day to help you, expose you to what CFA has to offer, give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you may want to ask, and then help you make up your mind whether you want to do it or not. And obviously, if you decide that CFA is something you want to do, and then we are there. That's where we come in. We help you, with the registration, with the enrollment, getting you the materials, and taking you through the teaching and what is required to pass the various exams. Right. So having said that, let's start with the basics. What is your vision? If you're saying, sorry, I've got some, excuse for, all right. If you're saying, if you're doing CFA, your vision is to become a CFA charter holder. Let me see if I think this thing is blocking my screen here. Let's see if I can try and move this thing around. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. So, so it's still blocking anyway. So the thing is too big. Okay. So, your vision is to become a CFA charter holder. Okay. And really, what does that really entail? At the end of the day, if you're a CFA charter holder, it means that you have received a rigorous set of training that helps you to make long, short, and whole investment decision. This long is not to say long term. In investment, long means to buy, short means to sell, hold means neither buy nor sell. If you had already bought, hold it. If you had already sold, you have sold it. You know, but hold simply means neither you shouldn't buy more nor sell off what you have. Ultimately, investment decision making is about, you know, which investment should I invest in? What should I buy? Which ones should I no longer invest in? Which should I sell? And which ones which I had already invested in, which I should continue to hold. All right. So in essence, the training you are getting is to help clients who are largely investors or asset managers, as the case may be, to make these decisions. Okay. And ultimately, investment is about achieving one thing. You want to generate returns for yourself or for your shareholders or for your owners, as the case may be. But in order to pursue that return, you have to expose, you know, some business or some investment or some capital to risk. So really, CFA is training you how to either buy, sell, or hold investments which are going to generate returns, and how to control the risks that are inherent in those investment decisions. So that is really what you are being trained to become. Now, obviously, in order for you to get to that point where you are seen to be an expert in this particular kind of long-term goal, let me see. Sorry, I think I've skipped. Oh yeah, I think I've no. Sorry guys, I've skipped something. I was already on this slide number 2. But let me just my apologies. Let me go back here. All right. So I think this is where I missed it. So out of your goal to become a vision, okay, let's say you become trained and you got this qualification and you can make these decisions. Okay, so where can you find yourself? What type of jobs can you find yourself in general? Okay, we've just outlined here the most popular ones around the world as well as in South Africa. Okay, there are many other jobs that you can get into in CFA, which are not. You can either look at becoming a financial consultant, a risk manager, a research analyst, a portfolio manager, or you're heading up an asset management firm, chief investment officer, like the CEO of an investment management firm. Now, there are 4 or 5 broad areas that you're going to find yourself working in. Is either you are working in equities, okay, where you're looking at helping companies to buy or investors to buy the stocks of listed companies, okay, or fixed income. You're helping investors to buy the debt, okay, debt instruments of companies and governments, okay, or you go into private equity. You essentially helping to raise equity finance to buy private companies and all the rest, or you go into derivatives, okay, which essentially is about, you know, working in units or environment that maybe deals with financial instruments which are used to control risks in your investment area. Instruments like forward contracts, futures contracts, option contracts, swaps, swaptions, and all the rest. I mean, those would be examples of derivatives. Or you end up in real estate, okay? You might also end up in real estate. I mean, there are many other areas. These are just the broadest areas, that very specialist areas that CFAs tend to work. All right. Now, CFA then has said, in order for you to get this charter and be seen to be able to advise clients how to make long, short, and these decisions, there are 10 what is called a CFA curriculum. Okay. Now, for those of you, this is really now you trying to understand what is it CFA is going to be teaching me. Now, the CFA curriculum is made of 10 knowledge areas. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. Okay. Whether you are in level 1, level 2, level 3, you are studying these same things. Okay. The difference is that it gets more. I mean, it's like, take for instance, when you went to school, you studied mathematics. You got grade 2 mathematics, grade 3 mathematics, grade 4 you study mathematics. You're studying the same maths, but it's getting more and more complex. Okay, so it's the same thing. You are studying these 10 disciplines. Okay, now CFA has given percentage guidelines. Okay, what is the weight on each? For instance, it would say in level 1, ethics and professional standards would account for 10 to 20%. In level 2, it accounts for 10 to 15%. Level 3, it accounts again for 10 to 15%. Quantitative methods in level 1, it accounts for just 6 to 9%. In level 2, it rises slightly to 5 to 10. And then level 3, it drops to 0. Now, some of these knowledge areas, they increase as you move higher. Okay, some of them reduce. Take, for instance, ethics. Ethics drops as you move higher. Quantitative methods increases a bit to 10%, then drops. Okay, economics, increases a bit to 10% and then stays constant. Financial statement analysis, it increases a bit from level 1, level 2. By level 3 is 0%, which means by the time you get to level 3, there will be nothing more to study on finance. Everything that you need to understand in this area would have been covered as part of level 1 and level 2. Okay, so I'm not necessarily going to go through every single one. The idea was to point to you that there are 10 knowledge areas, and then the percentage, the weight that CFA assigns to each knowledge area as you progress, from level 1 to level 3 changes. You notice, for instance, portfolio management. It's a very small percentage in level 1, but by the time you get to level 3, it's a very big deal, because at the end of the day, level 3 is about how do you put everything together in a portfolio. Okay, so the question then is, what is it I'm studying in these 10 areas? Let's start with the first one, ethics. Okay, when you study CFA, so it's not like a degree, right? It's a professional qualification. So with a degree, you can get a degree and it becomes your property for the rest of your life. CFA is a professional qualification. It's your property, but should you not conduct yourself properly in the business world and you are disciplined, that qualification could be withdrawn from you. They're very rigorous standards. Now, CFA has what is called their Code of Ethics and Professional Standards. The Code of Ethics simply spells out what is expected of you as a CFA candidate or yourself as a chartered financial analyst. It goes into issues of integrity, your honesty, your competence, making sure that you don't manipulate the capital markets, and it also spells out professional standards, how your behavior would be judged at work. Okay, everything that you do, I mean, if you are trying to advise a client on where to put their money, there are standards on that. Okay, if you have to deal with things that involve the law, there are standards on what is called knowledge of the law. There are standards on misrepresentation. There are standards on integrity of the capital markets. There are standards on fairness of the market. There are every different area that CFAs practice in. There are professional standards which have been written to regulate that area. At the end of the day, it makes no sense for you to be very competent at finance, but you cannot conduct yourself ethically, okay, or discharge your work in accordance with a set of standards. That could ruin the profession. So level 1, this part literally tries to make sure that as you study CFA, you understand the ethical guidelines and the professional standards that you will be called upon to discharge, or to discharge during the period when you are studying for CFA, and obviously after you become CFA. That is what binds us together and makes us a profession, and the rest. Now, level 2, sorry, not level 2. The next thing you'll be studying is what is called quantitative method. Okay. I mean, for those of you who did economics or accounting adversity, this is basically what you call statistics. Okay. And a bit of time value of money. I mean, you probably heard about discounting, interest rates, how to calculate the present value of a cash flow, the present value of an annuity, you know, those type, how do you value the very basics. It is also covered as part of this, but the large chunk of this is about uh, um, really statistics. As an analyst, your job would be to not only analyze financial statements, you're going to analyze statistical data, okay? We are living in a world where central banks are publishing data every day about interest rates, exchange rates, and all the rest. Statistics South Africa is publishing data about consumer price index, producer price index, GDP. You know, different organizations and entities are generating data. You know, the stock exchange is collecting data about security price and all the rest. How literally your ability to collect that data, bring that data together, analyze that data, you know, test that data, you know, calculate different types of returns from the data, the mean, the median, the mode, you know, the standard deviation of that data, the skewness of the data, the kurtosis of the data. There's so much that you learn about how to manipulate, understand data, different sources of data. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, because your job is to give investment advice, you have to be able to quantify that investment advice. If you tell your client buy this stock, you should be able to quantify not only how much you should spend, but what you believe the potential value would be to the investor if he invested. So literally this part just teaches you how to quantify things, how to look at statistical data and find the various tools, like I said before, standard deviation, central tendencies, skewness, kurtosies, averages, geometric mean, arithmetic mean. Those are different tools, harmonic mean, different tools which are used to quantify data. So that is the emphasis of this area, okay? As well as also teaching you hypothesis testing. At the end of the day, as an analyst, you'll never be able to draw the full population when you're collecting data, how to draw a sample and how to, you know, the various models and techniques to evaluate the efficacy of your sample and the rest. That's what you'll be studying here. The next item is which you will cover is what is obviously most of you have heard about economics. Okay, ultimately, you're going to be advising investors to invest in assets. Those assets, they do well or they do badly, largely as a result of the economy in which they find themselves. Okay, so literally here, CFA wants to make sure that you understand economics because it is within an economy that investments are made. So obviously this takes you into microeconomics and versus macroeconomics. Microeconomics looks at, you know, smaller aspects of the economy like demand and supply, the theory of the firm, how to calculate the average product of a firm, how to calculate the marginal cost of a firm, how do you calculate the marginal revenue of a firm, how do you know when a firm should stop producing, when a firm should continue producing, you know, how do you analyze suppliers in the market, you know, and then it takes you all the way to macroeconomics. How do you understand the GDP, the gross domestic product of a country, international trade, money and banking, those macroeconomic issues, exchange rates, you know, those macroeconomic that affect the whole economy. This part literally helps you to unpack those because the way the economy moves determines the opportunities and risks, okay? If you recall here, you need to see opportunities to create returns, but that's going to come with risks. So your ability to understand how the economy functions, okay, is the emphasis of this particular module, okay? Obviously, the next goes to financial statement. I mean, this should be pretty straightforward. At the end of the day, if you're going to be advising your client to buy equities or to buy fixed income of a company, you should be able to analyze the financial statement of the company. So this is where CFA literally takes you back. The beauty of CFA is that in level one, even if you did not do accounting and finance or a commercial discipline, level one starts everything from scratch. So level one starts everything from scratch. So it gives you an opportunity to really understand, for instance, accounting, debiting, crediting, understand the different financial statements of a company, understand the rules of GAAP. Outside US, we use the International Financial Reporting Instrument. Sorry, let me see. Sorry, let me just sorry about that. I was trying to switch off my phone. My apologies. Let me just switch it off. I'm struggling to switch off this phone. It's not switching off. Okay, sorry about that. I've switched it off now. My apologies, guys. All right. So here, literally, you look at every aspect. What is the balance sheet of a company? What is the income statement? You look at ratio analysis. You look at how does taxes affect the financial reporting of a company. You look at impairment of assets, valuation of assets, revaluations, liquidity aspects of a business. So this is where you literally analyze, get to understand how the income statement works together with the balance sheet, how it works together with the cash flow statement. Why is it that different companies in the US who use US GAAP, they account for certain things in the US differently from how we account for it outside the US and all the rest? And because at the end of the day, if you're going to advise a client to pick an investment, to buy a stock or invest in a company, you should be able to analyze the financial statements of that company. The next element goes to what is called corporate issuers. Okay, maybe I should just try and let me see. Okay, it wouldn't allow me. Okay, corporate issuers. In essence, when a company, all companies are corporate issuers. Companies raise equity and debt, okay, in order to invest in assets. So the process of raising equities is called the issuing of equity. The process of raising fixed income is called the issuing of fixed income. The companies that go to the markets to raise equity and fixed income, because they are issuing equity and issuing income to investors, they are called corporate issuers. Okay, so really what CFA is trying to do is to say, okay, we know companies, they will issue equities, they will issue fixed income to investors, and investors are going to buy this equity and fixed income. Now, we need to understand, before companies go out to issue equity and income, what do they take into account? If you issue equity, it has an impact on your financial statements. If you issue fixed income, it has an impact on your financial statement. Okay, fixed income is debt. Too much debt increases the risk. Okay, you could increase the risk profile of the business, but it can generate more return because cost of debt is cheaper than cost of equity. So this part, LIII just look at to say, okay, how do companies make sure that when they issue equity or debt to investors, the amount of equity and debt they raise, they understand the implications of that equity and debt on their financial statements. That's literally what you are looking at here. Now, once you have studied this, CFA then says, okay, but if you are a corporate issuer, whilst you understand what companies take into account before they issue debt and equity, you also need to understand the equity itself and the debt itself. Because this guy could be ABSA. We need to understand ABSA or MTN, a company that wants to raise debt or equity. We need to understand, as a corporate issuer, why are they raising debt? What do they want to do with the debt? How would the amount they're raising affect their balance sheet and their income statement? Okay, let's say we have understood that. We still have to then say, okay, the company has issued equity. I want to advise my client to buy the equity. That brings you to item number 6, equity investments. Because here, the fact that you understand that MTN wants to issue equity, it doesn't mean when MTN issues equity, you will know how to go about buying that equity. Or you might know MTN wants to issue equity. You might also know Vodacom wants to issue equity. You still have to be able to analyze all the various equities that the different corporate issuers want to issue to determine which one is the best. So this brings you to equity investments. How do you, if you wanted to advise a client to put his money into equity of a company, of a corporate issuer, what do you look out for? Here, you literally start by understanding how the equity markets work, like a Johannesburg Stock Exchange, how the market works, what are the various indices which are used to track the market. It takes you all the way to understanding the different types of equity, ordinary equity, preference equity, you know, and the different markets, you know, the different segments of the stock markets where equity has sold. So this zoom much deeper into equity. So you can be able to advise the client to say, yes, buy Vodacom, and here's how you should go about it. Or sell MTN, and here's how you should go about it. Okay. It's the same sort of thing here. If you're not advising your client, a corporate issuer, you know, to buy the equity investment of a corporate issuer, you're advising them to buy the debt. Companies sometimes also raise debt. But the same way, you need to understand how the equity market functions before you can advise a client how to operate within that market. You also need to understand how the fixed income market functions. Here, you're going to learn about bonds and interest rates, the Macaulay duration. You know, you'll be learning different types of duration, the Macaulay duration, the key rate duration, the effective duration, different ways of assessing the risk of putting your money. If interest rate was to go up, what's going to happen to the prices of bonds and all the rest? What are the different types of fixed income investments you can advise your client to put your money in? So this part takes you deeper and deeper into the fixed income market. Okay. And then, like I said here, number 8, derivatives. At the end of the day, when you're doing all this analysis, you want to advise the client where to put your money, because that will generate returns for the client. But once the client agrees to put his money where you have advised, it's going to open the client to risks. Okay, that is where derivatives come in. Okay, although you can buy and sell, derivatives are financial instruments that derive their value from the underlying movements in the asset markets to which those derivatives are related. What do I mean? If I know that gold prices are going up and down, I can write a gold futures contract or a gold derivative. That gold derivative is basically an instrument that tracks what happens in the gold market. Sometimes you find that you want to buy gold, but there's no gold in the market. You want to buy copper, but there's no copper in the market. Or you want to pay a supplier in dollars, but there's no in 3 months' time. But you don't have the dollars now, but you're going to need dollars in the market. You're going to need dollars in 3 months' time. So sometimes the asset market, okay, it is not very efficient. You are owing somebody in the US, you need to pay him in dollars in 3 months' time. You don't know what will happen to the exchange rates. You want to fix the exchange rate. You have to go and buy an exchange rate derivative. It's basically a financial contract guaranteeing that the dollars will be sold to you at a particular fixed price that you fix now, no matter what happens in the future. Now, obviously, if the price of dollar starts going up, because that derivative is written on the dollar, because the price of dollar starts going up, the value of that derivative also will start going up, which means if we then lose in the exchange rate market, you're going to recover your money on that derivative. So there are many different types. Every market, almost every market, you probably heard about commodity derivatives. There are gold derivative, copper derivative, iron derivative. Any commodity in the market that whose price is subject to volatility, you can write a derivative to mitigate the risk. And then investors, obviously, they can invest in those derivatives. So really what CFA wants you to understand here is that you can't go be advising clients to buy equity, buy this. You need to know that equity is not just returns, there are risks. Okay, so you need to understand what are the different types of equity derivatives that can be bought to control the risks associated with investing in equity. Similarly, there's fixed income derivatives. So this part simply wants to introduce you to the concept of derivatives, the different types of derivatives, you know, like I said, forward contracts, futures contracts, you know, how they are used to mitigate risk, but how they are also used to generate income. I mean, there are speculators and traders who trade in these derivatives to make money. So the derivatives are not only used to control risks, okay? They're also used as a source of speculation or as a way to, you know, to optimize the returns on a portfolio. So the CFA really wants you to go into this particular discipline and really understand how it can create opportunities and dangers as well in the investment market as one of the tools that should be at your disposal when you're advising your clients. Okay. Number 9, this is where CFA says, okay, we also need to go into alternative investments. Okay. Now, alternative investment is when you're studying all this, okay, most of it is focused on equity and debt. In other words, investing in equity and debt is what is called traditional investment. In other words, in the past, 90 or 100 years ago, most investors, when they say I'm an investor, is because they have invested in the equity of other companies or they've invested in the fixed income of the other companies. Okay. In this area, CFA is saying, but hang on. We are living in a world where a lot has changed. There are alternative investments where you can put your money into, okay, which is not necessarily equity or debt, okay. Real estate, putting your money in property market, okay, that might be neither equity nor debt, but that is an alternative investment. You know, putting your money in gold, the actual gold itself, investing in the buying and selling gold, okay, is an alternative investment. Put your money in, you know, bitcoins for that matter. Investing in bitcoins and all the rest is an alternative investment. Investing in hedge funds is a form of alternative investment. So literally what CFA tries to do is says, okay, let's identify all other investments that investors undertake, which are not necessarily equity, fixed income, or derivatives. Let's make sure we spend time, we understand them, because when you come out, you might not work in one of those areas. You might become specialized in other alternative investments, you know. And then obviously the last part there is what is called portfolio management. Okay. This is where CFS then puts it together to say, okay, well, CFS says, well, so which is this? Okay. At the end of the day, whether you pick alternative investment, you pick derivative, you pick fixed you put ultimately you're going to investment is about building a portfolio. Okay. You can find MTN is doing well, but you pick it and put it in a portfolio, it doesn't do well. So this part literally tries to look at what is portfolio management. How do you bring all the various investments, okay, and build a portfolio that would generate the kind of return you are looking for and optimize or reduce the risk associated with that particular portfolio. That's basically why this part comes. So these 10 together makes up, in general, what CFA is trying to, you know. So for those of you, I've been wondering what is CFA all about? What am I going to be learning? I hope this gives you, you know, some snapshot of what this is all about. Now, in the next slide, some of you will be wondering, how do the exams work? Obviously, if you want to do CFA, these are the 10 areas, okay? CFA has 3 levels. There's level 1. You are learning about, you see, we said you are learning how to make investment decisions about when to buy, when to sell, when to hold. In order to master how to make those decisions, level 1 teaches you the tools. Every profession has its tools and techniques, okay? Level 1 focuses on the tools and techniques you're going to use to make investment decisions. Level 2 focuses on how do you start using those tools and techniques to make short-term investment decisions, operational decisions, okay? Like how to value an asset, okay? You can never, if you're going to buy an asset, you have to value it. If you're going to sell an asset, you have to value it. If you have to hold an asset, you have to know its value, okay? All investment is about, if it is overvalued, let me sell it. If it's undervalued, let me buy it. So level 2 teaches you how to apply the tools and techniques that you learned in level 1 to value assets, because that valuation will help with buying decisions, selling decisions, or holding decisions. And then level 3, now, whereas level 2 focuses on, more short or medium-term decisions, level 3 teaches you how to make long-term decisions, okay? So here you're more worried about, if I buy this asset today, how much would I make if I buy in January, how much would I make by December or by next June? So it's more medium to short term. Here is long term. You are literally looking at, how do I build a portfolio that's going to last till my children, get to university? Your horizon is really, really long. How do I, in some investors, they are really long-term investors, like insurance companies, okay? When they invest for the long term. The way you make long-term decisions is different from how you make short and medium-term decisions. So level 3, really the focus is on portfolio management. If you remember, I said almost half of level 3 is focused on portfolio management. You see here. It is showing you how to put it together, build a portfolio that's going to last over the long term. Okay. So in essence, level 1, learn the tools of investment decision. Level 2, apply it to value assets. Level 3, learn how to deploy those assets to generate returns over and over and over again over the long term. Okay. Now, so that's basically what. So when we are in level 1, we are studying all these 10 things, drawing out the tools and techniques to help us understand this part. When we are in level 2, we are studying these various 10 things, draw out the same tools and techniques we learned to help us to do valuation. When we study level 3, we are still applying all these 10 things, but now how to put it together to make long-term decisions. Okay. So if you then decided to do CFA, here's what is going to happen. Every level, you're going to write an exam, okay? There's level 1 exam, there's level 2 exam, there's level 3. So you write 3 exams, which you can do in 18 months. I must say that's very, very hard. Very few people are able to finish in 18 months. On average, people take like 3 years to finish the qualification. Okay, but level 1, the exams are all computer-based. So level 1, you got 4 cycles to write exams. CFA operates exam. They used to operate exam just 2 times a year before COVID. Okay. Now everything is after COVID, they've adjusted. They can now do exams 4 times a year. So you can write your exams either in February or May or August or November. Okay. The rule says if you write in February, you fail. You can't immediately write in May. You must skip 1 quarter. So although there are 4 options for you to write an exam, you only really have 2 times. You can only write twice in a year. Because if you write here, okay, obviously you can't write here and pass and be able to go to the next level the next month. You need almost like 6-7 months to prepare for a CFA exam. So if you write level 1 year, you pass. The earliest you can write level 2 would be November. Okay. But if you write in year, you fail. You are not allowed to rewrite in May. You have to skip May and then write in August. So which means you only have 2 opportunities to write, in 1 year. Now, obviously, the exams are computer-based. Okay, so I know that in South Africa, we got a exam center in, I think it's somewhere around the eastern part of Johannesburg. I've just forgotten the name of that place, but it's somewhere around the east, not so far from the East Gate. There are also exam centers in Cape Town. Yeah, so there are computer-based exam centers. You book. CFA has guidelines in terms of when you must book, when you must pay for your exams, and all the rest. The exam is basically a 2-hour, 15 minutes exam. You're answering 90 multiple choice questions. 90 in the morning, 90 in the afternoon. Okay. So when you answer your 90 multiple choice questions, it takes 2.5, 15 minutes. Okay, that's almost like 1 minute, 1.75 minutes per 1 minute, maybe 35 or 40 seconds to answer a question. So you do these 90 questions in the morning, you do another 90 questions in the afternoon, and that's it. You wait for about 6 weeks. CFA publishes their results. If their results is fine, you go to level 2, same thing. So our job is to teach you prepare you to write these various exams. For instance, you see here, this one is in red. Okay, our semester is about to start. I think it is starting this week, our CFA classes. We are preparing students to write the August exam. I mean, we can't, May is too soon. You need like 6 months to cover the content adequately. So we're preparing people to write the August exam. Some people join to write August, okay? But let's say you are getting towards August, you realize that you got too much work. You can shift your exams to, if you are registered, you can shift your exams to write in November. So in essence, the semester we're about to start is to prepare people to either write in August or to write in November. If you start now, you really want to make sure you write in August or November, because obviously CFA changing their syllabus every year. Okay, you want to write now so that you can write. If you don't make it, you can try the second time. If you make it, you move on, because the syllabus gets changed. If the year passes, you have not written and passed, the syllabus gets changed. You now have to get new books, new materials, and all the rest. Level 2 is more or less the same thing. Okay, both are multiple choice. The difference is that these are short multiple choice. They'll give you a bit of an essay, okay, almost like a 2 or 4 paragraphs, and then they ask you multiple choice questions on it. But it's the same 2 hours 15 minutes in the morning, 2 hours 15 minutes in the afternoon. Level 3, I'm sure that's still very, very far away for you, but it's the same sort of thing. Level 3, the morning part is multiple choice. Then the afternoon part is constructed response. By constructed response, I mean they're gonna ask you questions. You have to literally type in your answer, document your answer, upload it onto the computer, and CFA can mark that and then give you a result. So I think so. Let's see. So I've addressed 2 things, guys. I've addressed what is CFA all about, okay, which is here. What if you did CFA? What type of jobs can you undertake? In what type of areas can you work? I've addressed that. I've addressed the syllabus areas for CFA. Okay, I may have I've skipped this part. It's a new requirement. It's called the practical skills module. Okay, so CFA decided that to reduce the gap between you passing the exams and being able to actually apply it. Okay, yes, the exams are computer based. Okay, but we don't know whether you can apply almost everything you learned here in the real world. It is done on computers. Okay, if you're learning quantitative methods, how to calculate averages, mean, median, and mode, and all the rest, hypothesis testing, there's going to be some software which does that. If you're going to be understanding financial statements, there's going to be some software which does that. So what CFA is trying to do, they introduce this module called practical skills module. Okay, to say, okay, all CFA students, you have to do, it's an online thing. It's a module that CFA has launched on their website. Okay, you have to go in there and prove that you have the things that you've learned there, you can practically do them at work. So for instance, there are 2 areas. There's what is called financial modeling. There's this other, what's the other area here? Yes, programming. So you can either choose, okay, you can choose to either do financial modeling, how to build a financial model, okay, or you do programming, because obviously in the real world, these 2 things are commonly used to make sure investment decisions are sound. So practical skill, this is not an exam, right? You can do it anytime. You can go in there, open CFA website, enter the information, try it. If something you don't understand, you go read it up. But it's basically how the things that you have learned here, how can you do it on a model? How can you do it? So you would have had the knowledge. Okay. So most people, they do this thing, after they have, done their CFA, so that they understand the CFA content, and then they can try and show that they can apply that, build a financial model and all the rest. CFA, you're not required to pass this before you write your CFA exam. You have to do it, you have to succeed, you have to get a pass mark. But the point I'm trying to make here is, before you write the CFA exam, CFA says you can write level 1 exam without having done this. However, before your results is released, you have to have done this. So in other words, you can say, okay, for now, focus on studying for my exams. Okay, when I write my exams in August, for instance, when I write my exams in August, it takes 6 weeks for CFA to give me the results. Okay, so during those 6 weeks, you can then go to the CFA website, okay, and apply everything you've learned, in the exam you wrote, so that you can use it to build financial models and all the rest. I mean, it's a step-by-step process. We also help our students on how to, build that model and all the rest. Now, during those 6 weeks, you do that, and then by the time the results come out, CFA will be able to pick up on their website. Okay, because everything is done on their website. They'll be able to pick up that you have done it successfully. They'll release your results. So if you have not done it or you've not done it successfully, your results will not come out. So although they say you can do your CFA exams without doing this, the mere fact that you cannot get your results until you've done this is as good as saying that you cannot do CFA, you cannot finish CFA level 1 unless you finish this financial modeling. Level 2 also has the same thing. There's financial modeling 1, and then there's financial modeling 2. The only point at which we're not going to do this is level 3, because by this time CFA assumes that, okay, you can practically apply most of these technical areas. So here is just how to come up with advice and recommendations for others who have to implement what your directives in the real world. All right, so I think, let me see, that's it, guys. And in the process also, I've explained to you the CFA exams. It's made up of 3 levels. I've explained to you the different exams, how many hours and all the rest. On that note, guys, I think my part was to explain to you what CFA really is all about. And the next part is to really show you how us as CharterQuest, how we make sure, okay, how we if you wanted to study this and we are privileged or honored that you gave us your confidence, you enrolled with CharterQuest. The next part really takes you through the timetable, the fee structure, our study packages, and how we make sure that we hold your hand and you can succeed with your CFA journey. CEO, I'm effectively done on my part. I want to hand it over to you. It may be that they want to ask me questions now on my part, and then after that you present, then they ask you more questions on your part, or I can pause, give you a chance to present, and then at the end, if there are any questions that I have to address, I can come back. So, CEO, which one works for you?
All right, I think we can address your part, then the questions relating to your presentation, and then I will take over on my end. So if
Okay.
you're fine with that, I think I've got
Uh,
2 questions. Some of them we have answered in the chat box. Can I read them out to you?
Yeah, please. And guys, while we're reading, if you wanted to ask any questions pertaining to what I've just presented, please do so that I can trash out all questions about my presentation, and then obviously we're going to continue. Yeah, over to you, CEO. What's the question?
Okay, so Samantha asked, how long do you have to obtain the full charter qualification?
There's no limit. I mean, there are people who start this thing 8 years after they come and do level 1, they pass, they go to maternity leave, go give birth, change jobs. 3 years after, come and do level 2. They get promoted, move to a different country. They work for 2 years, come back, continue. So I mean, there is no. There used to be a 10-year requirement that when you start CFA within 10 years you must finish, but that requirement is no longer there. So if you're asking how long it's up to you. I mean, some people going to CFA within 18 months, they are done. The average person takes 3 years to finish CFA. 18 months I mean, if you're working, it's hard to study CFA in 18 months. Usually people are studying full time and the rest, and they got a lot of time in their hands. If you're working somewhere with deadlines, it can be hard to do 18 months. But I mean, from the time you start, you can finish it in 18 months. The average person finishes it in 3 years. Okay. I mean, if not 18, you can do 2 years. Some people take 8 years, they are still doing it. some because they're writing and failing, some because they write one part, they pass, but they have other responsibilities. If the woman is getting married, is giving birth, so he can't study, he puts the study on the hold, come back. So it's really up to you. It's quite flexible. I hope that answers Samantha.
All right, so it is flexible, but at minimum, 3 years. That's what you indicated, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you are very, very smart, maybe 18
Committed.
months, but you should be looking at minimum is 2 years. 3 years is
2
the
years.
average. Yeah.
Average. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. T, and I'm sure Samantha should be answered. And I've got two last questions. There's one from Mr. Mpahlele. He asked, which body accredited CFA in South Africa?
That's a very good, it's a very good question. The simple answer is none. The simple answer is none. CFA has taken a decision that if we want to start getting our qualification to be accredited in every single country, there might be need for us to do substantial adaptations to the qualification to suit the requirements, okay, of different countries. And CFA took a view that no, investment is about as global as it gets. There is one global professional body called CFA in the US. Almost every country, CFA is not one of those areas where you go every country. Like for instance, in South Africa, we have South Africa Institute of Chartered Accountant, we have SAIPA. Every country have different professional body in accounting. But CFA, most countries don't have a professional body called CFA of their own, because there is one CFA, is in the US. All the various countries, they have CFA affiliates. They're all affiliated to the one in the US. So CFA took a view that, look, our qualification is so unique, it's so global, it is the global benchmark. We are not going to start going around trying to accredit the qualification in every single country. It's just not going to work. Okay, so they took that view to say, we're going to run a global qualification. Our clients are mostly international investors. Okay, the companies in local jurisdictions, they are mostly international operators. I mean, Alexander Forbes, for instance, is a South African company, but it's very, very global in its operation. Liberty Life is a South African company, but it's very global. So most of the big companies that are in the business of investment, the nature of investment is one in which you have to build a portfolio. To build a solid investment, you have to build a portfolio. And you can't build a portfolio by putting all your money in one country. You have to put your money in different industries within a country, different continents, different. That is how you build a portfolio. So as a result, every player, big player in the investment space, is global because they need to build global portfolios. So as a result, CFA took a view that, but our qualification then is a global qualification. Everybody is playing in the global space. It is pointless for us to go and be trying to accredit our qualification in any one particular country. We are going to remain global. Our clients are global. Our students are global. They work in global companies. So we're going to stay global. All right. So the simple answer is, therefore, there is no particular organ in South Africa that has accredited CFA. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. T. And then there is the last question from Naye is asking, could you please explain or give examples of the type of essay questions that are examined at level 2 and 3?
Okay, that's a good question. All right. Level 2. Okay, level 2 is not essay. Okay, you can see, even though we call it essay, okay, the real essay is here. Let me explain. They will come to you and say, okay, you have a client. The client is trying to decide which particular investment to pick. The client is considering between debt, equity, and derivatives. And then they'll give you some basic data. about those various instruments, okay? If it's a short 3 or 4 paragraphs, and then they'll ask you multiple choice, they will say, from the data above, pick which of the 3 should the client invest in. They will say A, debt, B, equity, C, this. Okay. They're calling it essay in the sense that here they just ask you one sentence, then they ask you give you 3 answers to pick. Here they don't ask you once, they give you 3 paragraphs. That's why they call it essay, in the sense that it is just, you have to read a slightly longer scenario, as opposed to here they can give you 2 sentences. Okay, an investor wants to invest in this asset. The asset has these particular numbers. The best estimate of the cash flow from the asset is A, this, B, this. That's what they do here. It's a very short statement and then a couple of multiple choice to answer. Here it's not a short statement. It's like 2 or 3 paragraphs. It's a long, slightly longer. That's what they call it essay. But even though they call it essay, it's a short scenario. What they then ask you after you read that essay is multiple choice questions still. Okay, so it's still multiple choice like this. The difference is that here is a 1 sentence and then 3 answers to choose one. Here might be 30 sentences or a whole scenario. Then they'll still give you 3 answers to choose one. Okay, so I hope that explains what is essay. Now here, okay, here in the morning you write multiple choice. Okay, the first part of the module is essay like this. They will give you short scenarios exactly like you did here. This same thing you did here, you're going to do it again here in the afternoon. Obviously, it's level 3. It's a different. It's the same 10 areas in any event, but it's more complex now. Okay, so they'll ask you, give you those short scenarios again. Then they ask you multiple choice. That's what they'll do. The difference here is in the afternoon, there's what is then called constructed response. Okay, that too is an essay, because they'll give you a short scenario, which is, so that short scenario is what is called an essay. A short 2 or 3 paragraphs is what is called an essay. But the difference here, then they'll give you an essay and then ask you multiple choice. Here they'll give you an essay and then ask you multiple choice on that essay. Here they'll give you a statement, not an essay, and then ask you multiple choice. But now here in level 3, there's another type of essay which is called constructed response. Okay. Unlike here where you read the essay and then you select the right answer. Here you read the essay and then you write out the right answer. So here you can just study the answer, you choose one. Here they will not be asking you to choose one. They'll ask you to explain. You have to explain something. They'll give you a story. They'll say, the investor has decided to choose this one. Please explain why this is the wrong thing. Explain why this is the right thing. So you have to construct a response. You actually have to type in an answer, okay, to answer that question. Then you get marks. That's why it's called constructed response. But even that too is still essay. So you're going to have 2 types of essay in level 3. There will be the morning essay, which is a short paragraph. It's like half a page, okay? And then they'll ask you 44. Let me make sure I get it. These 44 questions, they are not all on one essay, right? There are 11 essays. So you open the computer, the first essay will come up. It's half a page. They will ask you about 4 questions on that essay. Okay, and then the essay will disappear. Another essay will come up again, a new scenario. You read it, they will ask you about 4 questions on that, then it disappears. And now, so 11 times 4 is 44. So you have 11 essays. Each essay would have about 4 questions to answer. On this one, okay, you're going to have about 5 essays. But now each essay is followed by is not a multiple choice. They ask you 4 questions where you are not picking the right answer. You are explaining the answer. Meaning if you cannot write proper English, but you understand English, but you can't write, you can study and pass this because they are all multiple choice. But when you get a constructed response, because you have to explain why something is right and something is wrong. That's why it's called constructed response. I do hope that gives you a difference between ACEs, the ACEs that you're going to find in level 2 as well as level 3. If there are any follow-up questions, I'm happy to take them. Over to you, CEO. Any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. T. No, there are no questions. I was just also answering a few in the chat box, and I've also shared the example of CFA questions that we find that are on the CFA website to add on to your explanation. I just added that to our prospective student. But please do stay in the chat box. You may feel free to answer the questions as I do my part of the presentation so that we will be able to complete on time. But yes, Naya says, thank you. I do understand what you've explained about the questions.
Okay, sure. All right, great. Go for it. I'll be on the chat box. Thanks.
All right, Mr. T, thank you so much. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. All right, please let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the acknowledgement, and thank you everyone who has stayed on the session until now. So I'm going to take you through our program, our classes, how we run things, and also just to now probably give you more of a way forward and the next steps in terms of what next from here. So there were also a few questions about our study fees. How much are our classes? So at any point, please feel free to come through to the CharterQuest website. So it's charterquest.co.za, and you just click on the CFA here, and you would be able then to scroll down. So most of the information that we have been sharing or more about the CFAs there on our website. So at any point, please do feel free to come through and take a look. So in terms of our fees, how things work, I will firstly give you an overview of our intakes, then I will just go back to the fees. So we do have an intake that's starting now in January, and this intake is aiming for those who are planning to sit for the August or the November exam. So each CharterQuest intake is about 7 months long. So if you join a class now in January, you will likely finish your classes around July, meaning you qualify, or you would be more prepared, rather, I think it's the best term. You'll be prepared for the August or the November exam. So you can then make a decision, ahead of time to then say, I'll sit for August, or I'll finish my classes in July. Then I will probably take August and September, to prepare October, and then take my exam in November. So it's all up to you if you feel like you want to take the exam in August or in November. Other students, depending on availability of resources, budgets, others probably would even choose to take the exam the following year, but we obviously don't encourage that, because you want to take your exam soon after classes when content is still fresh, and you can still reach out to your lecturer during your time of registration with us, and then we are able to guide you and take your exam as soon as possible. So there is the May intake, right? That's aiming for August or November. Then there is the May intake. Sorry, I think I said May, it's supposed to be Jan. Then the next intake starts in May. So let's say you're not ready now, and we understand the financial investment when it comes to this qualification. You can take the May exam, and then, the May classes, they start in May, but they prepare you for the November exam. So this means again that you can choose if you want to take the November exam or the next year February exam as well. Then there is the October intake, and this October intake prepares you for the next year's May exams. So again, you can choose to take May or I think it's May or August. I just want to open the CFA level 1 exams. So there is the February. So there are 4 intakes, right? Mr. T did explain. So there's February, there's May, there's August, there's November. So it's all up to you now to just structure your study plan and also your exam preparations. There were some questions around the exams cost. I think some students already understand the cost implication of such decisions. So the CFA Institute has got exam registration deadlines. So right now, the August early registration is closing tomorrow. This means that you'll pay, I think it's about $950 if you register now. But if you register later, then you pay about 1,250. So there is a saving in the early registration. So you can still register for the August exam, only that you will pay about $300 more. So you just need to plan around it. Those who are preparing for November, the early registration, I think, closes around April. So at any point in time, you can visit the CFA website. I will share the fees section with you. So you can then just get a sense of this information that I'm talking about. It is right here. So this is where you will go on the August exam. So you will see that tomorrow the early registration will close, right? And then the standard registration closes in May. So the difference now is here. Sorry, I think I said 950, but early registration is 940. So if you register for August, early registration is 940 by tomorrow, but you can still register and pay 1,250 by 14th of May. So we are waiting now for November dates and other upcoming exam sittings. But in a nutshell, you need this registration, the exam registration fee, and you also need to pay a once-off enrollment fee. So in preparation, let's say you are ready, you have been planning, you will pay your 940 plus 350 at the same time. So these fees are paid at the same time when you are registering. They don't say you can pay this 350 on its own and come back later for 940. So you would then choose to say, I'm taking the November exam, for example. I will take the 1,250 plus this 350, and then we can assist you to either pay CharterQuest, and then we can remit to the CFA all at once on your behalf. So this can be part of the payment plans that I will explain to you. So I just thought you understand what exactly you're looking to, to get into. So if you go with the early registration fee, you're looking at about $1,300 to get started, or 1,600 if you go with the standard registration. So these are a part of the things you just need to consider as you now start planning on, which intake, which exam seating. You also don't want to attend classes and then struggle to get your exam fees, and then you end up struggling trying to prepare for the exam itself. Then we have level 2. It has 2 intakes. We have level 3. It has 1 intake. So obviously with the interest, and as you can see, majority of the students who are here are level 1. As we go to level 2 and level 3, the intakes are lesser because also of the number of students that do join for these levels. As CharterQuest, we do have payment plans. So you've got a payment plan up to 6 months. So you can pay a 20% deposit, and you can pay the balance over 6 months. You can also add on that 1,500 to the CFA Institute, and then you add it as part of your debit order. And what we'll do is we'll then work with you once your CFA fee has accumulated, because it's all needed all at once. We can help you to remit to the CFA Institute, but you create your account on your own, you submit your documents, you do everything that the CFA requires you to have. Like, for example, you will need to, I think there is is it, Mr. T, is it the ethics, the conduct statement? Is it what students should fill in?
Yeah, is the ethics and conduct statement.
Yes, so there are quite a few things there that you need to fill in as a student, and when it's time to remit the fees, then CharterQuest can support you. So at any point when you're ready, you go on the CFA website, you register, and if you've got any CFA fees, we will support you. And we also understand that self-funding students, sometimes you don't have the resources or the means to pay all your fees at once. We've got partnerships with Capitec Education Finance and with Standard Bank. So you are able to get funding via student loans and you've got a longer repayment period. And for self-sponsored students also, you may get up to 12% discounts. So on our student portal, there'll be a few questions for the discounts that you qualify for, and you may be able to get some discounts there. So as Mr. T indicated, we do have online classes. We also have on-campus classes, and you also can go through our pre-recorded or self-study classes depending on which level you are on and the availability of these resources, which we always have available. So I've spoken about the student funding, the discounts, and our flexible payments. So for the fees now, getting to how we structure the courses. So we've got what we call our tuition and exam preparation package. So this package, it has tuition. I mean, just by the word tuition, which means that we will take those 10 syllabus areas, we will break them down to then say, okay, this is quantitative methods. These are the learning outcome statements that are there. This is exactly what will be required. So we go through the whole syllabus with you. We support you from there. And after we teach you the content, we also would have the exam preparation process. Although we've got this exam preparation package as indicated, and at the end of the timetable, our model or our method of delivery is exam focused. It means that we just don't pump you with the knowledge. During our classes, we would have practice questions embedded in the lecturer slides so that we test your understanding. During the course as well, we do have a test. So you will find that those 10 syllabus areas, they are structured into 6 books. So what we would do then is after we cover book 1, which might have two of those or 3, on average 2 or 3, we will then give you a test. So I will just explain to you on the timetable. And the TEP package is our recommended package. If we will then, you'll be comfortable to sit for the exam after the lecturer has taught you all the concepts. And we have even then tried to do more questions to help you anticipate the type of questions you expect on the day of the exam, and also how to answer, how to calculate. Like level 1, it's multiple choice. You might find that you may be calculating backwards. You find the answer is A. You may be calculating the other way around. The answer is B. So we then help you to get the right concepts, the right techniques on how to get to the right answer. And I mean, I'm sure by now everybody understands how CFA is it's not a child's play, it's a serious exam. So that's why we are here, and we ensure that we have taken you through. So our TEP package and our live stream package, they're just the same. The only difference is that if you are live streaming, you don't have access to come to campus and have physical lectures. Whereas if you're a TEP student, you've got an option to come to campus and you can live stream. So on the day that you can't make it, you would have a link in your student portal, and then you just click and live stream. So you've got the flexibility of both if you are on a campus or a TEP student. Whereas if you are a live stream student, you can only live stream. So that is the fee difference there. And you've got 50 classes. I will show you on the timetable. Like I indicated, all the classes are recorded, and you'll be able to also access the lecturer's slides in your student portal. You will also get additional videos. So we are now working with UWorld. So Wiley, we used to work with Wiley, who have now been taken over by UWorld. So you will find more lecture resources in your student portal. The material is just as rigorous as LIII. For those who have studied CFA before, you will find that the resources are very, very useful. And it's because of their high pass rates. That's why we continue using these resources. You would get a detailed scheme of work. So this would be more like a plan, a lesson plan. So let's say you can't make it on Monday, or you need to prepare for Monday's lecture or Tuesday. I think it's Tuesdays or Saturday. You will then know that, okay, on this lecture, we're going to do quantitative method 1. This is what we are supposed to cover. So it just outlines what each class would be focusing on. In case you can't make it, or in case you want to prepare, this is just a good tool to have. Then you would have the student feedback. Then you would get a student file. So this is just a customized student file where you put in your notes and everything that you would be printing or utilizing during the course. You would have access to your lecturer. So there will be WhatsApp groups, you would have his email address where you'll be able to interact with your assigned lecturer. As I indicated, those 10 syllabus areas are split into 6 books. So these are ebooks, they're interactive ebooks that we will provide access where you can get through all these books. So you would get these once you register. I think there is a bit of a waiting period of about 3 to 5 days. Then we will send you your access. Within that access, there are these 6 ebooks. You will also have, this is the UWorld access, right? Which I said that it was formerly LIII. You would have these ebooks. You would have these question banks. So there are over 1,500 practice questions. They are set up by topic. So let's say we've just finished financial statement analysis, I think. Then you would know that, okay, I want to test myself. Let me prepare for the CharterQuest test. Let me use this. And let me also start practicing completing these questions on time. So there's a timed version and there's a study version where you're just completing the content. Then you will also get CharterQuest mock exams. You'd also get in the LIII resources, you'd also get their formula sheet. You'd also get their smart cards, or they call flashcards, they're digital flashcards. So these are all digital. So all the resources are all online. So you will get 2 access platforms, the CharterQuest platform and the UWorld platform. You will also get the CFA recommended financial calculator if you're at level 1. So we only give this once at level 1. So this is the Texas Instruments calculator. It's already included in your package under the TEP package. And you'd also get a lot of practice questions on the CharterQuest website. You'd also have your WhatsApp groups where you've got student support, your lecturers there as well. So this is the TEP package that I've just explained to you. Now you will get here the interactive online package. Like I said, everything is the same. The only difference is that you don't come to classes. And we then say, if you attend all your classes, you do everything we have outlined for you. You take your tests, you take your mock exams, you take the extra resources, you utilize all of this. If where you don't understand, you ask your lecturer. You use the resources that you have been provided by CharterQuest, by UWorld. You should pass your exam first time. If you don't pass your exam first time, what we then say is, you can come back. It's first time or it's on us, which means you can come back. So we are giving you a lifetime free return, and you also you may get up to 35% rebate against a future course. Obviously, if you've never missed a class, so we've got a few terms and conditions that you just need to follow. That follow the first time pass guarantee. So I do have a few students who ask, what is this all about? So just to give you, more context, we are so sure about what we are teaching you, how we have structured the course, that if you follow your sessions and everything that we have outlined, you should pass your CFA exam first time. We also have students who probably, from our questionnaire, we've got students who have been studying by themselves. They've already registered. Maybe you want to just come to us for revision. You would then have to pay about 15,000 for the revision sessions. But you can just see that you can top up and just join, the full course. But there is the exam preparation package. This would be for a student who just wants to come through for exam preparation. So you will join others at the end of tuition when they are now doing questions and just preparing for the exam. And you can see that the resources that you get, they're just more about exam questions. You don't get the part that deals with the tuition. So it assumes that you already have the knowledge. You probably have been trying this, you know that, okay, I've got the content. I just need to start preparing for the exam. But like I said, we recommend the first two packages because we will teach you, we will know the knowledge gaps, we will know where to fill in and try to get you prepared for the exam. So to just add, I think now the timetable, we have spoken about the CFA fees. So let's say at any time, or you want to get the CFA timetable, just come and click on where it says timetables. And then we will go to the CFA level 1. I'll just use level 1 because of the majority of students who are here. So the Centre, Livonia, and the eCampus live stream timetables are the same because you'll be live streaming the same session. So all the 3 intakes are here. So I'll choose February, and then I'll choose the TEP. So remember the TEP option, because this is on campus. If I chose live stream here, I would have the live stream option. So I will then search for my timetable. I think there was a question that was asking if one can can you alternate between Saturday and Tuesday? So I will just also take this opportunity to answer that question. So you attend classes twice a week. The sessions are consecutive, one after the other. So here there are 10 classes in total that cover book 1. So if we attend on Saturday, right, between 11:15 and 14:15, each class is 3 hours long. We will continue on Tuesday from where we left off. So Tuesday classes are evening sessions, but Saturday classes, they start from 11:15 to 2:15. So I think some students would probably assume I can attend on Tuesdays only, or probably I can attend on Saturdays only, but no, you need to attend both. But what we have done is to make it easy. Some Tuesdays may end up being live stream sessions, but most of the time we will be on campus because some students are always trying to, you leave work sometimes at 5, you're stuck in traffic, but we do run both sessions on campus, unless if maybe you want to opt to live stream because we've got that option, you are able to do so. So all the 10 classes here for book 1, you would need to attend them because they all cover different aspects of book 1. Then we will have a test 1. We will also continue here book 2. We will finish book 2 on Tuesday, 19th of March. Then there is a test 2. Again, there is your book 3, then your test 3. So we go all the way to, this is what we call our test 6, which is a pre-mock exam. So all of these sessions, we really encourage you to attend your classes. If you can't make it on campus, join online, and then take your assessments. You will find that there are 2 dates on the assessments. So the 29th of May, for example, is the date it opens. And the 31st of May is the date it's closing. What it means is that all you do is just to find a day. So if your test is 2 hours long, just find a day where you've got that opportunity to fill in, to complete your assessment for 2 hours, and that's it. So because of people are working on different schedules, there's also load shedding. We give you these 2-3 days to allow you to take the test when you are ready before it closes. And obviously it will reopen for self-assessment. You can go through these at any time, but we just want to make sure that at least the test window is open. Everyone has an opportunity to write your lecturer review. By the time the lecturer meets you on this day, you know very well that he knows, okay, my students didn't do well in book 4. Okay, what are those things that we should do or what we should try to focus on? So this is just the timetable basically of what you would be expecting. If you're interested in starting in May, the schedule is there, and September, the schedule is there. So if at any time you need this, just come through to the timetable section and you can get this timetable. I will share the CFA exam and the costs information in the chat box, and then you would be able to access this at any point. There we go. But yes, on that note, I think on my side I'm done. I'm not sure if there are any questions or anything that I should address or anything I may have missed as well. I'm happy to go back to it. Or maybe any additions from the team? Let's check if we've got any questions. Mr. T, I assume you would have answered questions, some questions.
There was only one, so I've answered that one.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so please feel free to continue engaging with us. I know some of you will join now and you still have to make a decision, like what Mr. T said. You still have to maybe at the end of this session, you probably have realized that no, CFA is probably not for me at the moment, or probably I need to be with another provider or another qualification altogether. But this is what we offer as CharterQuest, and I see some questions that we had today that are great. We did answer the questions. Mr. T, can I maybe just hand back to you on these? We are good.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to share our contact details now. So in case you just need to reach out to us, those are our contact details. We are reachable on WhatsApp. So on our website, there's a WhatsApp icon. When you click on it, you will reach out to us. So if you need these details, you are free to screenshot. Otherwise, I'm sure you probably would have engaged with the team. They would also be talking to you after this, and they will help you to prepare for your upcoming classes. I'll hand over Mr. T to you for closing.
No, it's fine. I think I've closed. Guys, if you join, I would be your main tutor. So if you have anything specific you want to ask, you're welcome to ask. Otherwise, I think I've covered what I wanted to cover.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. T, and thank you, team. And also, most important, thank you to all the prospective candidates who have been with us on this call today from start to end. And also for those who have dropped, in case you're now listening to this as a recording, we really value your attendance and we really hope to having you on the course. So from my side and the CharterQuest team, we wish you a good night and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you and goodbye.